Yo guys, what's up? It's Will Scully with AudioSavings.com. Thanks for tuning in. It's NAMM 2015. I've got Zach here with Rane, and we've got a new mixer fresh out by Rane, and really excited about this one. I'm looking at a bunch of rotary knobs, but take us into this and the digital conversion that we have built on board, and what we can expect from the MP 2015.
Yeah, so this mixer is the best mixer Rane's ever built, for starters, and that says a lot in Rane's 30+ years of making amazing club mixers. The project was in two-part. We really wanted to design the best sounding, most durable mixer on the market today, and we also wanted to make sure that any DJ could walk up to it and easily understand it. So we really tried to keep the design as simple as possible and give today's DJ everything they needed in a mixing instrument, plus give them something that they might not know they need yet, which I'll go into. So aside from being the best mixer Rane's ever built, the filtering system, it's a 4-channel rotary, obviously. The filtering system is unlike any other filtering system on any mixer. It combines kind of the best of both worlds between the filter you'd find on a Pioneer 900 and the filtering system you'd see on a Zone 92. So it's a 3-way filter switch. You have a high-pass, full rotation high-pass filter, or a full rotation low-pass filter, or the low high pass combo you'd find on a Pioneer.
Has a peak point that sweeps.
Right, and then it has the on-off button for the filter, which is really awesome. On the right side of the mixer, there's a resonance knob for all the filters, which is super high Q resonance knob. It sounds amazing. Wow. One thing that I needed in a DJ mixer for a really long time that's in this design is the ability to group channels together onto a submix, which is what this is over here. So for me, I use Tractor and I use multiple decks. So say I have 4 channels of audio coming into the mixer. If I then wanted to, say I was coming in on a breakdown on channel 1 and I wanted to take the volume out of all 3 of these channels, instead of having to deal with moving 3 volume knobs, now all I have to do is press the sub button at the top of the channel strip. Now these tracks get sent over to the submix. Now I have 1 volume knob to control the volume of all 3 of those decks, or I have 1 filter to filter all 3 decks, or obviously the whole high, mid, low EQ for anything running into that submix. So that's huge.
Yeah,
it's completely taken my performance to a new level, and so that's the most exciting feature that I think is on this mixer. The next thing, the isolator at the top, also another amazing feature, which for those of you who are not familiar with isolators, this is going to either take out or accentuate the frequencies that come out of everything out of the main output. So for example, you can turn on the isolator when you go and do a breakdown, tweak these knobs all sorts of crazy ways. You have crossover knobs, which really allow you to dial in the exact frequency that you're trying to accentuate or take away. And you can move these in real time, and it creates these really awesome sweepable effects. And then say when the beat's gonna come back in, instead of having to bring the knobs back to 12 o'clock to get the full spectrum of sound, you can have these all tweaked and then just turn off the isolator and it'll go back to full spectrum.
Wow.
Another thing to mention over here on the right side, there's a session input that is, let me turn that down, session input that's either an analog session input, so you can, for example, plug an iPod into the session input. Okay. You'd have volume control for the audio coming into that input, and then you can also send that to the submix, which now gives you full EQ control and full filter control of anything that's coming into that analog input.
Yeah.
You can then flip this switch the opposite direction, and now this becomes this is a USB input. So for me, I run 4 channels coming from Tractor. I insert machine onto this session input here, so I have volume control for machine, and then I can then send that also to the submix to get full-on EQ filter control. That's awesome. Also in the submix is where you'd insert your external effects processor, which simple as turning it on, and you can either apply the effects to anything that's coming into the submix or everything that's coming out of the main output. And then of course you got your wet dry knob there. Dual USB ports on the back. Okay. So it's 14 record channels, 10 playback channels times 2. So that's 24 channels of USB audio. So you can be streaming audio from 2 different computers at the same time into any or all channels of the mixer. You can be playing from one and recording, multi-track recording onto the other one, or vice versa. There's a lot of flexibility there. The sound cards, I don't know if I mentioned, but they're 96K, super high-end sound cards, equivalent to the sound card that Richie Houghton tours with, the RME. We knew that we needed to not spare any expense as far as the sound card and also the phono preamps. This mixer is obviously geared towards the techno house crowd, and vinyl is obviously making a comeback in that industry. So we really wanted to make sure that if you're playing a vinyl, if you're a vinyl jock, that the audio is going to come into this mixer and come out very transparent. So we put a lot of effort in those phono preamps. So regardless if you're a Serato, a laptop DJ or a vinyl jock or CDJs, the audio you're going to get out of this thing is absolutely amazing. The headroom out of the main output is 116 dB, which is unheard of as well.
Yeah.
So much headroom on this mixer. I think that is, one other thing, last thing to mention, everything's custom. I mean, we designed everything. Phono preamps, these knobs, or pots rather, are custom pots. They're rated, cycled at 1 million cycles. So to give you some perspective on that, the old pots, the old Alps pots, the Black Beauties, they were rated at 50,000 cycles.
Yeah.
This is 1 million cycles. So these pots are going to last the life of the mixer.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows the Rane quality knows that these things just last forever.
It's
so
the best in the business, man. And you know, I just want to touch on a few things. I am so impressed right now. I mean, this is really epic to see something that's been completely redesigned from the ground up by Rane. And then with this guy, hey, you've got your EDM DJs, you got your guys that want your effects. I'm a house guy. I stay away from that stuff. This is for your purists. This is for your real DJs. And so we've got all these rotary knobs now. Again, one thing about amplifiers, you can take 2 up or 3 down at a time. With rotary knobs, it's a little different to do it. And to be precise, that's why you have this group channel here, and you can just select them, move everything down together. I guess selecting up here on the mixes. You've got your auxiliary inputs, and then this whole thing right here, it's something I've never seen on a mixer before.
Right.
Never seen it. And where you got your EDM guys that are going heavy filters, flangers, echoes, your house guys are always giving you that purest and best sound possible.
Precision with the EQing and the filtering and the resonance of it all.
I mean, we could talk about it for days, but that's what makes it a good mix. I know, the hair on the back of the neck. This is no joke, guys. So that's what you're going to get out of this top half here. Having 1 million cycles on your rotary knobs, on your knob, I mean, that's just fantastic. And then also, last thing I wanted to touch on, when audio comes in here, it can come in analog, it can come in digital. You've got RME converters, which is, in my opinion, the truest sound as far as conversion goes.
It's not RME. It's just as good as the highest quality RME sound cards that, for example, Richie Houghton uses. So I mean, we knew that crowd, we were going to be compared to those sound cards. So we're like, our sound cards need to be just as good, if not better, than those. And then we nailed it. They're amazing sound cards in this mixer.
Exactly, to have that conversion up to par. So guys, we are so excited about this. Zach, I got to tell you, thank you so much, man. Really proud of what you guys are doing. Respect you as a DJ as well. Guys, go to audiosavings.com for all your Rane gear, and thank you for tuning in.